The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
First Week of Podcast coming to you on March 30th, 2023. A little solo action here. It's been about a week since I did a little solo episode here for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the last couple episodes we've done here, though. We did, last episode we did on Tuesday with my good friend up in Boston, Duke Bennett. We previewed WrestleMania 39, which is coming this weekend. Look out also for the Unfiltered Podcast. I'm doing my top 5 mini moments on that feed tomorrow, on the episode there. And then I think last week before that I did baseball preview with my good friend Mikey B. As today is actually opening day. I'll touch on that in a second, actually. So it's been about a little over a week since I did a solo episode, and I kind of want to check with you guys and kind of express some things here I'm feeling these days. And you probably look at the title like saying, you know, the weird title here, you know, gym membership and all that. It's kind of a weird title. So the only reason I named that was because I've had a gym membership now for I'm embarrassed to say I've had this membership at Planet Fitness for about 5 years, and I've hardly ever used it. It's cheap. It's $10 and change a month. And I always say, well, one day I'll get the urge to go every day. But the truth of the matter is I haven't really done, when I say workout, I used to be a gym rat back in the day. My early 20s, when I was single, no kids, and no responsibilities, and I had all the time in the world, and I was in a band at the time too, so staying in shape was a thing, and I wanted to have, you know, some shape and muscles and all that, you know, that kind of thing. I would, you know, I go to the gym a lot. I used to go to the gym like 4 or 5 days a week. And I got this deal back 2018, I think it was, 2018, because it was a good deal. It's $10 a month. It's not going to kill my pocketbook, my wallet, you know, so not a big deal. But let's keep it real. I'm wasting money. I'm literally donating $10 and change a month because I don't ever use it. And I do exercise now every day, but I do it at home. I walk every day between 2 and 4 miles a day easily, which that in itself actually is probably healthier for me at this point in my age, for starters. And then when I do work out, I actually prefer to work out at home and do like exercise here at home, push-ups and planking and I'll laugh at you guys laugh at me saying this. You know, I still love doing Taekwondo. I still love doing Taekwondo. The Taekwondo is awesome. I know it's very 90s and stuff to say that, but it, you know, am I really wasting my money? Is this a waste? I mean, am I wasting my gym membership? I really am, and I should cancel it. But it makes it so hard to cancel because you got to go in person to do it. Number one, I tried canceling it online and tried calling Planet Fitness to do it, and they said you have to go in the place to do it. Like you literally have to walk into the building, into the gym itself, and cancel the membership. And the funny thing is, the gym is literally 5 minutes, maybe 8 minutes from my house, up the street. So it's not like I couldn't one day go in the car and just go and cancel it. But I just don't do it because I'm lazy to. Because and not only that, I don't even think about it. And that $10, it goes away. It's like, okay, whatever. I'm never really reminded of that $10 until literally I look at my account, I go to my transactions, my bank account, I'm like, oh, Planet Fitness, $10.76. Oh, shit. So yes, I am wasting it because I barely use it. And, maybe there'll probably be a day. I probably should do it today, to be honest with you, because I was home all day. I actually relaxed today, sort of. I did a couple podcasts, and I did a couple podcasts then, and actually did go for like a 2-mile walk today. But there should be a day where I just go in and say, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to go and just cancel this damn thing and be done with it. When that day will be, I don't know. In the meantime, they're getting a $10.76 donation from me every month until I decide to walk in there. How many times my wife said, you need to cancel the gym membership? I go, yeah, I know, but I don't have the time to do it. I do have the time to do it. I just don't want to physically get out of my house and do it. Got some things going on here, kids and all that stuff, and activities, and if it's not on my mind front and center, I'm not going to do it. So I don't know. Maybe next week I'll on a random Tuesday. I'm home. Like, you know what? I have about 3 hours myself. I'm going to go in there and just cancel this damn thing and save $10 a month. How about that? So yes, I am wasting my gym membership, which is quite sad. Quite sad. Staying on that though, the health stuff been pretty good. Still working on it. Still losing weight. My blood sugar continues to drop. A lot of it also is also because of metformin that I'm on because of diabetes. But my goal is to get off that stuff as fast as possible. I've heard now. Granted, I haven't had any issues with metformin in terms of like side effects. People talk about side effects they've had with whether it be diarrhea or throwing up or stomach aches. I haven't had those problems at all. So I'm not in that bracket of people that's complain about it. But that doesn't mean I want to continue being on this medication either. The less medication I can be on moving forward in life, the better. Like if I'm taking pills, I'd rather be taking pills that have vitamins and supplements and things that benefit my body to bettering, not to prevent. Or I should say preventative stuff. Like fish, omega-3s and fish oil and multivitamins and joint supplements, things of that nature. I'd rather be putting something like that in my body as opposed to things that, okay, I have this diabetic thing or I have this high blood pressure thing, and the less the better, honestly. And to me the base of all this I'm doing with controlling these diabetes and reversing it, of course. And for the record, guys, it can be reversed. Don't let doctors tell you different. That's why I didn't want to get insulin, because I'm not trying to put a band-aid on the problem. I want to fix the problem altogether. To me, the base of everything I'm doing here is intermittent fasting. And you guys know I've talked about intermittent fasting on this podcast many times. I've actually been doing that. I've been intermittent fasting off and on pretty much for the last 4 years. And as I said before on this podcast as well, that the difference now versus before is that then, even though I would do the 8 hours on, 16 off, and whatever, or 8 on, I don't know how you say on and off, but 8 hours eating, 16 hours fasting. The difference then was between now and then is that I'm eating better in the hours I'm eating, in the hours that I'm allowed to eat. I'm not drinking the sodas. I'm eating with sugar. I'm still having issues with the only thing I think I'm struggling with my blood sugar is still slightly higher than it probably should be. That my doctor told me that I need to take care of. Is I'm still working on bread. I think bread is still one thing I'm trying to cut back on. Rice is kind of an issue too, but I don't eat rice every day, so I don't think that's as big an issue as it should be. But bread, I do like to eat toast with my eggs, and I'll get a sub once in a while with veggies and stuff. But things of that nature. So I one thing that I've attempted to do the last couple of days, and it hasn't really worked out for me really yet, is my chiropractor, who's also a nutritionist, he's a wellness doctor. He's fantastic. Dr. Kevin Usry. Shout out to him, of course. He has suggested with the fasting that I not eat after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He wants me to start my day because we laid out a plan on Tuesday. He said he wants me. If I start my day at 7 o'clock in the morning, he wants to start eating right away. Still do the 8 hours, but end my fast at 3 o'clock. Because I was giving my average scores on my blood sugar at night after I eat, and he still thinks it's a little bit too high. He wants to try a more radical approach to getting this lower. So he said he wants me to start trying to stop eating after 3 o'clock. In theory, that sounds good. I've spoken to also good friends of mine who also are fitness, nutritionists, folks, and they agree. And there's been studies that said that also that the earlier you start your fast, the better, because your body will be able to absorb all the insulin and then some. The issue with me is that I am not sedentary beyond 3 o'clock. I am still pretty active at 3 o'clock. In fact, I don't end most of my days. I don't end work till 5 o'clock. The days I'm working, I don't end till 5 o'clock. Okay, so I'm still active there. Then I'm with my kids, and that's being active in itself. On top of that, as I've been saying, I also walk twice a day. I walk in the morning before work, and I walk in the evening after work. So at some point, I'm going to want to eat something, okay? Or put some in my system. So if I eat even something small, it's really, it's the point. It makes the fast pointless because you want to go to 16 hours, if not more. The longer the fast, the better for your body. So I tried, and granted, I screwed up yesterday too because I actually not on purpose ended my fast at noon, and by 6 o'clock in the evening I was absolutely like disgusted and moody and stuff. So I ended up breaking the fast and just eating something, eating a banana just to hold that. So I'm having a hard time modifying that. I think I can pull it off. The issue is at work, I'm not guaranteed to get time to top off my last meal before 3 o'clock. I can do that at home on my off days. So like on Tuesdays, Sundays and Tuesdays and Thursdays, I can probably do that. Because I'm home, I'm controlling the environment, and basically I know when to do whatever I need to do. My wife's a little frustrated too because it also in fact affects her schedule too, in a sense, how we eat as a family. Because unfortunately she has a fairly opposite schedule with me, at least half the week, where Tuesdays I never see her because she's working 14 hours a day. Wednesday I don't see her other than early in the morning when I go to work, and then when she's leaving to go to work at night, we're switching off because I work in Wednesday morning, she works in the evening, and she goes to work after I get home, and then Thursdays like today she's at work during the day, and so I won't see her till tonight for the first time in 2 days. So we like to eat as a family together, her and I especially too. We love that. And that 3 o'clock thing throws that off. So we're now working on 2 different schedules now where I eat my own thing on my own schedule, her as well. And that means also I need to start learning to cook more often on my own. Because it's not fair to her to make meals for me on odd days and then have her food for herself on that as well too. It's not fair to her. So I attempted to do it yesterday. I failed dramatically. I tried again today, and I failed. Number one, I failed because number one, I woke up in the morning at 7:30 in the morning. I wasn't even hungry for starters, and then I didn't even get up until 11 o'clock in the morning, 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. So right there, I'm already 4 hours into the fasting, into the eating period, and I don't have 4 hours to eat. And so I was like, no, I can't do this now. So I came to this thing unprepared. Like the doctor, dropped this on me on Tuesday, and I am still unprepared. So he wants me to try this for 3 days, 2 to 3 days. And I want to find 2 to 3 days in the week to do this. And typically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday would be perfect because, as I said, Tuesdays, she's gone all day long. Wednesdays, I don't see her. Thursdays, I don't see her until the nighttime, and we can pretty much work that out. So I would say maybe do it next week. The problem is next week is, you guys know, this is podcast for many years. Next week is the big Christian family week because April 3rd is my anniversary. April 4th is my youngest son's 6th birthday. And then April 8th is my oldest son's birthday. So we got a lot of activities planned. Like, for example, Sunday, we're going to go to Land Country Safari with family and friends, for starters. So I'm going to be a little more looser with what I eat. Not bad, just eat a little bit looser. The Monday, I think we're going to take my youngest son to dinner somewhere. Who knows? Chipotle, maybe. I don't know. Whatever he decides on. And then Friday, we're going to take my oldest son for his birthday to get pizza for dinner. So all these things, are impacting that. Are going to impact that. So I could probably still pull it off on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, but it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. So I'm trying to modify it, the timing with this, and we'll see where it goes, obviously. But it's tough because I'm pretty happy doing the 11 to 7 thing. Like, I don't typically eat my first meal until 11 o'clock, sometimes even later, into noon. And I'm okay with that. And my body's used to that. And I don't eat my last meal until 6, 7 o'clock, the latest. And I'm okay with that. But he wants me to be a little radical and see if I can get my blood sugar down to where I'm getting into 100, below the teens. Because this morning I tested. This morning I think it was at 123, which is good. It's in range. But he wants to get even more radical, and I respect that because I think in his case he also wants to see me do well. He believes in this, believes in good health, and he's been someone he's spoken on himself, saying that he believes in this and he's done this himself. He doesn't eat after 3:00 and he eats low carb and all that. So I'm gonna try next week. I'll let you guys know how it turns out. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this hasn't been easy. When I say it's been easy in terms of the transition was not as hard as I thought. And I think because I was more motivated because of the fact that my health, when you're faced with health scare and things that, oh my God, your A1C is 11%, which is off the charts, your cholesterol's through the roof, your high blood pressure's through the roof, you're forced to make drastic changes. Again, I'm doing this not just for myself, obviously, number one for me, but also for my family, for my wife and my kids, and then, my siblings that want to see me live and thrive, and everybody else, and I had to make some sacrifices there. But there are sometimes, that doesn't mean there are any speed bumps. And once in a while you get a couple speed bumps here. So this one, I don't know if I call this a speed bump, but I'm going to attempt this next week and see if in those 3 days next week I can pull this off. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. But yeah, that's what's going on with me in the health stuff and intermittent fasting and all that. Everything's going well. My neck is continuing to get better. Still a little bit of numbness my left index finger, but otherwise I'm good. I'm back to recording full-time, podcasting full-time again officially. Made my return to Taste Wrestling last night. We actually recorded our show last night, a day earlier than usual, because the boys are actually going to WrestleMania this weekend in Los Angeles, California. So we had to get that out of the way. So I'm back to recording normal. Obviously, as I said before, the only issue I think I'm gonna face moving forward is because recording late is hard for me now because I'm typically in bed now a lot earlier than usual. I've gotten used to going to bed now at 10, 11 o'clock at night. And we do that podcast on Thursday nights pretty late. We actually start recording about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and we don't end until probably close to 1 in the morning. And my doctor has already said that he wants to, one of the things I need to start doing is resting, getting good sleep. So that's going to be a challenge there. But we'll see how. But well, if there's speed bumps there with that, we'll obviously make some decisions in the future about how I navigate that going forward. But it's going to be back full-time podcasting. This show, of course, we've been ratcheting up the content on this show as of late. With the previews of baseball season preview last week. This week the WrestleMania preview with my boy Duke. We got a lot of good shows coming up in the next couple weeks. Of course, a lot of things planned for that. The NBA playoffs start in 2 weeks. I also have my own basketball podcast, which I do on the side on the Huddle Up podcast feed with my buddy, a good friend, Big Jim James needs his podcast feed, Huddle Up Incorporated. So I submit a NBA centric podcast, very short weekly podcast, no more than 20 minutes episode, short to the point, But I'm also back to doing my main stuff. This show, Unfiltered Podcast, Unfiltered Podcast, another feed. Dropped one today, talking about the Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson situation. And that show, again, you guys don't know about that show, of course. That show is basically taking trending topics of the day, and it's very, very time-sensitive stuff for the most part, and just ranting on it for 5, 10, 15 minutes at the tops. It's not very long. So it feels good to be back to podcasting, navigating, figuring out things, content creating. I love it. It's great to be back in the saddle with that. So today, Metallica released their 4th single for their upcoming album that's out in 2 weeks, actually. The album is called 72 Seasons. The track today they dropped was called 72 Seasons. It's a title track of the album. And I will say this song is actually probably my favorite of the 4 they released so far. It's interesting too because in the past when bands and artists release singles, they typically you release a single, promote that one single for a good month, 2 months before the album release, and then you release the album. Very rarely do you see the artist band release a second or third one. But of course, in the era now of streaming, things are different now. Seeing bands and legacy artists like Metallica changing the way they do how they present the music, not so much the music, in terms of how they play it and what they write, but more so how they market it. Rather, it's interesting. In the past, for example, 32 years ago, when they released the Black Album, they would release Enter Sandman as the first single. They promote that single for a month and a half, release the video for it, and that would be, release a single back then when singles were a thing. And then a month later, you'll see the album come out, and that single will promote the album, and you buy the album. Now the band they've been doing this for the last couple of releases now. This one, of course, the last one, 2016, Hardwired Self-Destruct, they released the song and the video together. They released the first song, Lux Eterna, back in, I think, was it November, December? It probably been December. Back in December, they released that song with the video. Then the second single they released was Screaming Suicide, which was in January. They released that one. Then last month they released a single called If Darkness Had a Sun. Okay, with the video, of course, too. And then today they released the title track for the album. The album's for what it's. So let me say this, and I people ask my opinion on the songs, and obviously we'll do a review. I have a couple things planned in the next month or so with music guests on here, people who are fans like me, and we're gonna discuss the album. I'm not gonna lie, I am pretty biased because of Metallica. I'm pretty biased. I'll admit, I'm a fanboy. I'm a fanboy. I've been a fan since 1996. They're my favorite band of all time. You guys know my power 3 artist bands of all time: Michael Jackson, Metallica, Queen, in that order. So it's hard for me to dislike a song. Like, it's hard for me to get a real sensible review of a song out the gate like this, because my excitement for the song being released in general overtakes what should be a more nuanced review of the song. So, to be honest with you, I'm going to wait probably a few months before I actually wait till the album's settled in as a whole, as a package, and then review the entire album after that. Probably about a month, a month or so after, and let it settle. Let's simmer, let's settle a bit. But I will say that this song, is a grower. I love the intro. It is probably, of the 4 songs they've released, my favorite. I've had to rank the 4 songs. I would probably go 72 Seasons first. I'll probably go that's just tough because I like all the 4 songs, but I guess Lux Eterna second, Dark Side of Sun third, Screaming Suicide fourth. But I don't know. Give me a couple of months and I'll rank the songs when I hear the entire album. I see some reviews online already, and some fans are not very. They seem disappointed in the song, and I mean, whatever. I mean, everybody has different tastes. You can't when you're a band as big as Metallica, you can't cater to everybody. You just write from the heart, because when they put out the Black Album, dude, when they put out Riding Lightly back in '84, and they released Fade to Black, and all their thrash fans were like, "What? This is too light," or Sanitarium, this is too light. And then they put in the Black Album, also it's too mainstream. And then they put out Load and Reload, oh, this is way too mainstream, this is not metal anymore, this is rock. Then they get Heavy Reduced Anger, and now the production is shitty, which was for the record. So you can't please everybody. You can only write for yourselves, and hopefully the fans have been with you through through this whole entire journey. You just hope they stay on board with you. That's how you do it. You can't please everybody. Like I said, I admit I'm a fanboy, so it's for me to get a nuanced take on the songs. I need to let it settle a few times, a few months, a few weeks. I don't know. Some songs on Hardwire from the last album, that I love out the gate, I don't love as much, and vice versa. Some songs just grow on you. That's the beauty of music, man, because music is in that way. It's so authentic, and it's so you just develop that thing it's so organic, it's so organic and natural. So, but yeah, the album's coming out in 2 weeks. I'm actually going to a listening party for the album the night before the release. They're doing one night only, April 13th, select theaters around the world. They're going to play the entire album in the theater. I'm assuming every song has a video, I'm assuming. And we'll play there. I'm planning on going to the listening party. I think it's a really cool idea for the record. I've never been to a listening party before. I remember they had a listening party for the Black Album back in '91 at Madison Square Garden. Now, granted, this is in person. They didn't play. They sat and listened to play the album in front of fans. This is a cool thing. I think it's really cool. This is another way also for theaters to make money also too. Creative ways to content and whatnot. So I'm planning on going on the 13th to the listening party at my local theater that's showing it here up in City Place here in West Palm Beach. So 2 more weeks till the album comes out. Can't wait. First album in 7 years. What else? Today's opening day in Major League Baseball. Off and running. The Mets game is on right now. I think they're up 1-0 now. They're in town, but I can't go. I got no time. Mets are in town against the Marlins. I think it's a 4-game set. I think. 5 things looking forward to the season narratives and stuff. The new rules in place. The clock rule now. The switch. All that. See how the adjustment goes with that. Looking forward to see how that plays out. I'm interested in Shohei Ohtani's future with the Angels. This is going to be his last year in a contract, I believe. He could be a free agent next year. Rumors says he wants him to stay in L.A. with the Angels. Maybe go to the Dodgers. On the preview podcast we did with Mike back last week, we spoke about that. Actually, I actually clipped that discussion on my YouTube page at youtube.com/EarnestChristian @EarnestChristian, so you can see it there. How that plays out. Obviously, my third thing here, the Mets title window with Verlander, being here now at 40 years old, which, by the way, on IR already, injured reserve, injured list, whatever. If the Mets can keep the title windows open, and turn things around in the playoffs. Fourth thing, the NL East as a whole, best division in baseball right now, in my opinion. I would say, Phillies, Braves, Mets are the top three teams in that division. The Braves are going to be the Marlins are going to be kind of frisky this year. The Nationals always, Nationals were bad last year. They got kind of frisky at the end of the season last year. Even with the Mets last year. How about that? In the end of the year. And then the fifth thing this year I'm looking forward to in terms of narratives is this the beginning of the end of Dodgers? Now, again, I say that knowing that there's a chance that Shohei Ohtani, which he's expressed wanting to stay on the West Coast, could be a Dodger next year. So I say that not knowing that he may go there and then they keep their success open for years to come. Just saying. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to baseball this year. So it should be a fun year. Coming on the World Baseball Classic and the excitement coming out of that. Hoping that parlays into a really good season here. In Major League Baseball. It's my kid in the background is yelling. So last thing here. Final Four weekend is here. 2 teams in South Florida here. In the Final Four, of course, UM. But, of course, the big surprise is FAU. The surprise is FAU, obviously. You should be surprised with Miami getting the Final Four because they've actually been a good program for a while now. The basketball program in Miami has been really good for a while. They made a couple of Sweet 16s in the last couple of years. If you had told me 20 years ago that the University of Miami basketball program would be leaps and bounds better than the football program, given the history of that school, I called you a liar. It's one of the basketball program that at one point they stopped a couple of years because no one cared, brought it back, and ever since then they've just turned things around. It's fun. This has been a wide open tournament, of course. No number one season right now in the Final Four. You got UConn there as well too. San Diego State as well too. So a bunch of surprises there. But I find myself, even though it's been fun to watch these upsets and these great games, the older I get now, I'm finding it harder and harder to watch college basketball. Not because I don't enjoy it, enjoy the fun, enjoy these kids playing, but the product itself is just not as watchable. You watch the NBA, and I'm an NBA diehard, and you watch college basketball, it's night and day just on the gameplay itself is night and day. It's like amateur and then professional. And I hate saying that because obviously these kids they're young, and you can say the same about NFL and college football. But college football, I would say, at least on the top, at least with the SEC and maybe at least the top teams in each conference, they show a much more thorough product, I would say, than college basketball. I think that's probably the main reason why I have a hard time watching college basketball as a whole. Obviously, being an NBA diehard and having less time to watch anything and limited bandwidth to watch content, I'm going to always choose the NBA and twice on Sunday. Same reason why I can't watch NHL all the time. I follow the NHL, but I don't watch all the games because I'm watching NBA every night. Not just my Heat games, but also every game in the NBA I care about. See, I was telling my wife about this. I love baseball, but I care about the Mets more. And I don't watch. I'll if I have the chance to watch certain teams, I'll watch them. And yeah, I might sound like a big of an elitist there. Oh well. Same with the NHL. I care about the Rangers and to less than the Panthers here in Florida. But I don't watch the Capitals or I don't watch the Penguins all the time or because I just I don't have the bandwidth for that. Whereas the NFL, I care about all 32 teams, and in the NBA, I care about all 30 teams. So even though I'm a Heat fan, I do also care what the Bulls are doing. I also care about what the Kings are doing. Shout out to the Kings for making the playoffs for the record. So I care about all that too. Same in the NFL. I care about the Giants, yes. I also care about the Dolphins. I also care about the Bills. I also care about the Ravens. So I think that's why, even though I followed the tournament and I watched a couple of games here and there, I wasn't invested. It wasn't appointment TV for me. Even this tournament, as good as it was, and as surprising as it was, it wasn't appointment television for me. I think I'm at the point where I've just come to the conclusion that that's just what it is for me now. I'm a guy that likes college basketball, appreciates it, but I'm a casual at this point now. So there it is. But Final Four should be fun. I'm going to watch Final Four games, obviously. You have the 2 on Saturday and then title game on Monday. So I'll watch those. Hopefully I'm rooting for FAU to win the whole thing because it's the best story. And FAU is literally, their campus is literally 50 minutes from my house. So it's literally local. So anyway, that will do it for today's podcast, dated March 30th, 2023. Again, on Twitter at EJChristian7. Check out all my work. First off, when you want to see all the podcasts I'm doing, all the work I'm doing, check out my Linktree at linktree.com/EarnestChristian. Guys, especially check out my YouTube page, especially that, at youtube.com/@EarnestChristian. Until then, also check out please my Earnest Speak Unfiltered podcast, which I'm trying to do every day, at least 5 days a week. Hard to do every day because I got so much going on, but I try to get at least a few a week, topic-centric trending topics in there. I definitely will have one tomorrow because I'm doing one on my top 5 WrestleMania moments on there, so looking for that. But until then, we'll talk soon. Enjoy your weekend, and that's about it. See ya. Thank you.